Bitcoin surging to another record, briefly crossing above 72,000. You can see it just around 71,800 bucks right now. Other crypto-related stocks are also seeing a boost from the recent rally in Bitcoin, driven by optimism from the SEC's approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler spoke with Yahoo Finance last week about that decision. Let's take a listen.
I thought that it was the most sustainable path forward, along with the commission to approve those. And investors got additional disclosures based upon those exchange-traded products. They get certain protections on the stock exchanges, but they should also, I would say, be aware it's a highly speculative, volatile underlying asset, Bitcoin.
All right, we want to bring in Marion Laboure, Deutsche Bank's senior economist. Marion, it's great to have you here. So talk to us just about the recent run-up that we've seen in the price of Bitcoin. You've outlined a number of factors driving it. What are the biggest catalysts?
Yeah, hi, many thanks for having me today. So yes, indeed, there are few reasons why Bitcoin reached a record high. First, the ETF has just been approved last January, and we have more ETF coming as well. We are also going probably to have like a few central banks interest rate cuts, which are all approaching. The Bitcoin halving is become very near now, and regulation is also coming this year.
And one of the areas where we're seeing even more kind of coziness for it is the UK. And so where more globally are we going to expect some of the allowance for ETPs or exchange-traded products for cryptocurrency, and specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, perhaps, to really continue to fuel this rally?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, today in the UK, the FCA has just softened stance on the sector by permitting Bitcoin and Ethereum-backed exchange-traded notes. But we are also seeing this year more and more regulation worldwide. For example, in the EU, MiCA regulation will take effect in stages as well. Rules governing stablecoins will become enforceable starting next quarter. In the US as well, we have regulatory action which have accelerated despite the lack of overarching rules. We have around like half of the CFTC enforcement actions in the last fiscal years, which involved digital assets. Last year, the SEC sued Binance and Coinbase as well, and we also had the highest civil monetary penalty ordered in any CFTC, which was made against a fraudulent scheme involving Bitcoin, and it was equal to $1.7 billion. And if I look at regulation as a whole, I really see it as a net positive development for the industry. If we have a clearer regulatory framework, which might have increased corporate adoption and higher liquidity, which is probably going to result in less concentration. And ultimately, it's going to help address volatility in the crypto asset space.
So, man, do you think it's likely then that we're going to stay at these elevated levels?
So yeah, I think there are good reasons why it's at this elevated level, and it's probably going to stay high. I mean, if I look at the future, you just mentioned ETF, the spot Bitcoin ETF, which was approved, but we have also more ETF which are likely coming. The SEC first decision on the spot Ethereum ETF application is expected mid-May. And overall, this evolving ETF landscape and participation of institutional players are helping crypto mature into a more established asset class.
And just lastly, while we have you, Marion, the halving, how much of a catalyst could that be further for Bitcoin specifically? And does that mean that the global coin market cap as well can see not just a rise on the back of Bitcoin, but does that present a rising tide for the rest of the other smaller currencies?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. The Bitcoin halving, which is the fourth Bitcoin halving actually, is approaching in about a month now. And this fourth halving will have the reward again from the current 625 down to 3.125 Bitcoins. And if we look at the previous halving events, for example, if I take the more recent one, there was a sizable 27% price increase in the months before the 2020 halving. If we look at what happened in 2016, we had a more substantial 13% gain. And if we look at the 2012 halving, prices rose by 5%. So every time we have an halving process, prices tend to rise before, around 30 days before, but also slightly after the halving. Having said that, on your question about like the global crypto market, I also think it's important to distinguish Bitcoin from the other largest cryptocurrency. If we look at the 100 largest cryptocurrencies, only 6 are at or near all-time high. So not all cryptocurrencies are equivalent. And again, Bitcoin has the largest market cap, and the market cap is also like 3 times larger, bigger than the second largest cryptocurrency, which is Ethereum.
Marion Laboure, who is the Deutsche Bank senior economist. Thank you so much for taking the time here with us today.
Thank you.